Sofia has a flashback to when she was 9. She's playing hide and seek with her brother Alberto, and then she comes across her mom's dead body hanging from the ceiling. So very, very traumatic thing for a 9-year-old to see. It cuts to that later on that night. All right, so we got Alberto on the side. We got Carmine. God, he does look like John Turturro. And we got Sofia. So they're having dinner, and it actually does seem like Sofia is Carmine's favorite. And then Carmine drops a bomb on Sofia, right? He says, I want you to take over the business. And she says, look, there's just one thing I'm thinking about. I don't ever remember mom being depressed. And Carmine, immediately his expression changes. He tells Sofia, look, your mom was really good at hiding it. She was stubborn. I tried to get her help and stuff. I miss her too, baby. It sucks that those things happened, but those things really upset me. So why do you keep bringing up these things? These things upset me so much.
Quite a left turn.
Yeah, it got so fucking sinister.
Him going Viserys Targaryen was not on my episode 4 bingo card, but it makes sense when we know that Alberto is definitely just not a serious candidate at this point. They even give him like the sniff when he's at the table to foreshadow what he might be into. Seems like she's barking up the wrong tree though with these allegations that she's trying to raise based on Carmine's cold, piercing gaze.
I was wondering if they were actually going to pull out John Turturro, and I was going to get real amped up. But then once I heard him speak, I was like, okay, yeah, obviously they didn't get like the guy, but still close enough, honestly.
You went to the store for John Turturro and you asked for it, but your mom said, no, we're going to go with the other version. Instead of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's like Cinnamon Squares.
Yeah.
But he does a pretty good job at it.
He's RC Cola, but he's damn good at it.
His name is Mark Strong. Do you remember the Kingsman movies?
Yes.
He was Merlin.
Oh my God. So we then jump to the party, right? So this is Carmine's birthday party. And then in the middle of this, Oz pulls up and he's in a nice suit. And Sofia comments on it. And then Oz says, look, your father wants to see you. Carmine immediately says, look, why didn't you tell me you met with a reporter? So Oz snitched. This is not good. So Sofia tries to brush it off. So Carmine then tells Sofia, look, they're trying to destroy me. It's past the point of no return, right? So Carmine knows, look, she knows what really happened. And he goes,
you're confused, sick. I think you need to leave before you make a scene.
Carmine does show his cards early on in the convo just by how defensive he gets. He's menacing during the entire scene. The way he operates, he makes everybody else feel so small, including Sofia in this one.
They get stopped by the police, and then all of a sudden, they actually arrest her, and they say, you're being charged with the murder of Yolanda Jones, along with, I think, 6 other women, right? And then they also charge her for the murder of Summer Gleason, right? Carmine Falcone moves fucking fast. And we see that Carmine has already done the press run and planted a ton of evidence, and she is being called the hangman because of all the women that died via hanging.
You know, occasionally when it comes to the gangster genre, you have some mobsters that are not terrible guys, you know, bad guys, but not sociopaths. Tony Soprano, for example. Even if you look at The Wire, I didn't consider Avon to be a sociopath. Then we look at this dude. Carmine is a different kind of cat. He is just playing the law of the jungle right now and trying to bring his defenses in. This was his chosen heir. And in a matter of minutes, he has a whole conspiracy cooked up to pin 7 murders on her. Ruthless efficiency. But it also shows us the level of corruption that exists in Gotham. The other family members, they fall in line because they know that by putting her away, there's more power up for grabs in the event she doesn't come back. And also because you don't question Carmine.
Basically, she has to stay in Arkham for 6 months and get evaluated before going to trial. Sofia's like, look, if I just kind of do an evaluation and just answer in a way where it's obvious that I'm sane, then I'm good, right? And it's just not that simple. There's this crazy scene that we see where she goes into Arkham and they just strip her naked, fucking just basically assault her, right? Like they strip you naked, they spray you down, they hose you down with like really cold water. They're just probing in and around her mouth, her teeth, her gums, all this stuff.
Yeah, the prison intake scene reminds me of in Shawshank when Andy Dufresne is getting deloused and the hose is turned on him and all of that. Just being treated like an animal as she's being locked away. Complete dehumanization. And from what we know about Arkham, based off previous Batman canon, this is not the kind of place where you're just going in to do a little bit and coming on out. This is a kind of place where when you walk in, you do not come out the same way.
After they've stripped her naked and put the inmate clothes on her, she is greeted by 2 doctors. The head doc is Dr. Ventress, chief psychiatrist, and he's going to be the one overseeing her care for the next 6 months. This guy just looks so fucking evil, bro. So evil. Immediately evil. And then we see our boy, Dr. Julian Rush. So he is the associate. So he's working under Dr. Ventress. And we see immediately, just even with the way Rush looks at Sofia, he looks at her differently than Ventress looks at her. And then we get the customary lunch table scene, right? If you're gonna do the whole prison thing, you have to show the lunchroom. It's just it's part of like prison TV lore. It's always so good because we always know that it's the first day in the lunchroom is when people might fuck with you. You have to stand up for yourself.
It's the chain of command. It's how you see who really rules the jungle and who's the person who's got something to prove here, who's top dog. Having mob connections works well in certain gangster genres, in regular prisons.
Yep, and I want to say that having mob ties is great if you're on good terms with your mob when you go into jail. But she is on bad terms, so now all of that power that her family has is going to be used against her, and she has no one helping her out. And even as she's walking, everyone in the caf is already looking at her, and they're like, new girl, new girl. She's obviously very famous already. So this inmate is fucking terrifying. She starts pulling up to Sofia right away. She starts just getting aggressive with Sofia and basically just beats the shit out of her, right? Like just stomps her out. And then Sofia wakes up in her cell to Dr. Julian Rush pulling up, and he's like, I heard you had an incident in the mess hall today. And Sophia's like, yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me. What are you talking about? And she's wondering why this inmate was unchained. And Julian Rush is like, really? Unchained? You think that was a coordinated attack on you? Is that what you're saying? And Sofia immediately just cuts through the bullshit and just says, look, I know how you're trying to phrase everything and make it seem like I'm paranoid. It is what it is. And then we get this crazy scene. They basically bring her for a one-on-one meeting with the inmate that assaulted her, and everyone's just watching. The guards hand Sofia a fork, and that fork is meant for her to basically stab this inmate to death. And when Sofia doesn't do it, she just starts stabbing herself in the throat and kills herself. And then we get a series of just torture scenes, right? Putting her in shock therapy, essentially, I'm guessing, Damon, until she stops saying that she's innocent.
This episode is essentially Sofia being gaslit into insanity for 45 minutes, which is a crazy switch up because we're used to seeing her so powerful and dominating every scene that she's in. And here she's powerless, and that take no shit attitude doesn't really pay off for her. They even try to, when she gets put into the electric shock treatment, kind of a one flew over the cuckoo's nest vibe with all the electroshock and just non-consensual treatments going down. ECT treatments can actually cause psychosis if they're done enough on someone who's not actually in need of them. So what goes down after this is actually pretty realistic.
Yeah, because there's scenes while she's getting tortured that she's in her cell and she's peeling off the wallpaper, right? And there's stuff underneath, but we don't know if that's actually real or not.
We are in the driver's seat all episode with her when she's going down this rabbit hole. There are shades of so many things that we've seen before here, from like Alice in Wonderland to even that One Piece episode where they have that girl who they're like making her sick the whole time when they're trying to free her. I forget which episode.
Oh,
it is,
yeah. That episode is fucking crazy. There comes a point where Julian Rush is like, why, like, what if she's telling the truth? And Ventress is like, yo, watch your fucking mouth, bro. Like, don't you ever say something like that again.
Shut up, bitch.
And we're gonna put you in the chair next.
Yeah, it's like, dude, he's just like, shut the fuck up. You don't want any of this smoke. Rush is like, all right, I'll stop. So her nightmares, where she's having the nightmares of hanging and stuff like that, which we saw, I think, in episode 1 or 2, are all because of this. So we see the second lunchroom scene. This is how these prison type of episodes go, right? Like, you get the first lunchroom scene where you kind of get taken advantage of, right? Like, you get dominated as the new inmate, and then you got to come back and get your lick back, right? Sofia finds out that Magpie's been spying on her, relaying all of her personal stories and things that she's saying to Dr. V, and Sofia just goes nuts and fucking bashes her head in and kills her. Fucking awesome scene. She yells at everyone, says, I told you I'm fucking innocent, and actually yells directly at Ventress, and obviously they put her down.
She finally just takes the wheel and says, you know what, if you're going to treat me like a psycho, I might as well act like one. This seems like the manifestation of just all the hopelessness that she has to endure while she is at Arkham. This episode is just super anxiety riddled in a certain way. Like, watching this with my girlfriend, her exact comment when Sofia got injected was, I feel like I just took those drugs watching all of this happen. You're right there with her the whole time it goes down. She's been betrayed time and time again. It's almost like if you were to keep a tracker going, like if we made a video on this, she's probably betrayed 14 or 15 different times in this episode. This is the process that sharpens all of the instincts that she uses in the present day.
We now jump to present day, and this is right after Sofia called for Dr. Rush to basically come help her. And as Rush leaves to go grab some things, Sofia notices that Rush has been taking some drugs to numb himself as well. She tells Rush, like, look, I'm not sick. You're not sick. The world is sick. Just storms out and gives this creepy fucking smile. I deserve a fresh start.
All of the rage that she built up over the past decade has to go somewhere. The soundtrack also works wonders here as we transition into the dinner scene. Like, you know, some shit is going down and that she's far from finished.
So now we cut to the dinner scene. No one is expecting Sofia to pull up, right? She clearly was not invited, so she pulls up late, makes a scene. We also see Carla and Gia there, her daughter. The entire crew is there, right? Like Milos and Johnny V are there. Everyone's there. Luke is there. Johnny V's like, what the fuck are you doing, right? And Sofia is just trying to play everything off like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, I'm just chilling. And Luca gives this speech about, hey, you know, tensions are high right now. Like, we're under, you know, our families are you know, we got to be strong, blah, blah, blah. And Gia likes Sofia. So Sofia and Gia are actually having a good time. She interrupts her uncle's toast and is like, yeah, I'd like to give a toast. And Sofia calls everyone out for basically helping her father frame her for the murder of 7 women. I thought Sofia was going to do something even crazier at this moment, but she kind of just tearfully tells everyone, look, I'm clearly not part of this family anymore. I'm innocent. You guys all fucked me over. You guys are all anxious to get me out of this family. So tomorrow I am starting a new life.
I thought it was a nice touch to have her in a similarly colored dress to the one that she wore the night that she got sent away. Even when she is eating at the table and Gia is laughing, she's eating with her hands again during the beginning of the speech, which is a definite callback to what we've seen her do a couple other times in public. She's adopted an almost Joker-like vibe throughout the scene, the way that she's toying with everybody around her and doesn't really give a shit what they think because the time for that's well long past. Funny when everyone's rolling their eyes and shit, but it's like, no, she should get a chance to say her piece. She did a decade in Arkham, like Johnny Vitti. You take a seat. A big theme of the episode that she's realized her family never actually cared for her. It was all a power play to fall in line behind Carmine. Even though she was a much better person back in the day, that just never served her well, especially around these people. So the naivety is gone and replaced with something else.
Sofia gets Gia out of the house and she's like, yeah, we're going to have cake. And they go to this greenhouse that they have, which is fucking sick. The night passes. The next morning, Sofia gets up and she starts walking inside the house, and we see that everyone in the house is fucking dead via monoxide poisoning. So while everyone was asleep, Sofia went in the basement and basically fucked around with the heat, right? Or something, like fucked around with the gas, like just unplug something. So gas was just spreading throughout the entire house. It is kind of savage because she just killed Gia's mother. Let's make that clear. This was a great Sofia episode. I think she's awesome. The actress is crushing it, right? But Sofia is a complicated character.
When this first started and she was taking Gia out to the greenhouse, I was like, oh, Jesus, she's about to kill Gia.
Yeah, I thought, or like kidnap her or some shit. Yeah.
It was like, oh, Sofia, come on. But then when she gives the line about like the locked away in a dungeon and she had to fight monsters and that Gia would be safe forever, it was like, oh no, she's going to do something to try and make Gia like her daughter. I like how when she woke up, when the dawn light comes into the greenhouse, you see the scars that she had from Arkham on her shoulder and on her neck are super clear, really good lighting choice, really well planned and everything. The revenge arc that she ties together on her family, it's so poetic.
Maybe she meticulously planned this out, but either way, Vidi wakes up, Sofia's got the gun, and she just says, we need to talk. Put your pants on, Johnny. We need to talk. Episode fucking ends.